What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday to you. Happy Ghost of Tsushima launch weekend, and welcome to Season Game and Bitcast episode. What are we on here? 114. Wow.
Oh, I know. I just show up.
Feels like we just did our 100th episode, and yet it's flying away over there. So, all right, I'm your host, Ghost of Tsushima this week. I'm getting better with the names, I think, Dan, a little bit.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I basically stole it from you. As always, partner in crime, going reloaded, Dantham. Good morning, sir.
That's right, buddy. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Nice. Love that blue shirt too. Love it. Had to go back to the SG today.
Yeah. I went old school.
Like old school.
Yeah. My first shirt.
Yeah, you bought 19 shirts since you wore that 3 weeks ago.
Pretty much.
All right, and then for the first time joining us, very happy to welcome MaDz Gaming. I know probably everyone who watches this show knows MaDz. So MaDz, great to have you here from Poland, man.
Yeah, well, happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. Let's just dive into it.
Let's do it. So.
Great topic. So I've seen the list, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, especially looking forward to your thoughts on a couple of these because I know you're more on tech knowledge side, which is great. So looking forward to it. So what's up, chat? Good to see a whole bunch of the regulars here. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the hell time it is for you. So. All right, so MaDz, we always like to talk to the guests a little bit, when we get started here, right? So here, Dan and I, we're old, we're seasoned, we've been gaming a very long time, and I don't think you're old and wrinkled like we are yet. So wanted to talk to you about your gaming history and what got you into gaming, where did you start?
Yeah, well, I'm not that young anymore either. So I'm like 40 to be honest with you. So
wow, you don't look 40. So okay, I'm only 41. So damn,
right.
I gotta get some secrets from you apparently.
So hey, listen, my wife just keeps telling me hey, eat these vegetables. So I eat them. That's the secret, I guess, right? I don't know. I have no. I'm just joking. I'm not joking. She really is telling me to eat these vegetables. But anyway, with regards to gaming, well, I think I got into the gaming when I was 6-7 years old. Really, this is the first time I got exposed to gaming, in a sense that I used to visit my uncle for holidays and stuff, like summer holidays, winter holidays, and his neighbor had this Atari 2600, right?
Yeah.
So this is the first time I actually played games, right? So
okay.
Back in the days, nobody else I knew I had any sort of electronic piece of a device other than calculator. So no, I'm just joking. But nobody had a computer and that kind of stuff. So this is the first time I kind of played the games. I got my first computer, not console, when I was 9-10 years old, and that was Commodore 64,
classic,
8-bit, and still with that cassette. Tape and that kind of stuff, right? So that was we're talking about loading times right now. It used to really took quite a long time to load the game, right? Sometimes it even 10-15 minutes, and then it crashed, right? So stories, there was a lot of stories about that. So then I got this is where I first got really my own computer. This is where I started playing with games, playing with coding a little bit as well. So this is where my kind of IT interest comes from really, because I am working for IT company. Yeah, I've been working for a while, and so that was my first computer. Then I moved on to Amiga 500, I believe.
Nice.
Then I got first PC, right? And this is when I actually got into the consoles, because not many people actually know, but back in the days, Poland was rather still a young democratic country, if you know what I mean, because for so many years Poland was behind the iron curtain, as people call it, right? Or red curtain, however you want to call it. So we were a communist country. We didn't have access to all those devices, and we were a rather poor country as well. So people, actually, a lot of people, even if we had access to those stuff, we had to import it from like Germany and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It costed us like way more than it costed like people that were living in Germany, for example, right? And not only because of the salaries and stuff, but basically, we really didn't have many consoles back then. So if anything, it was more about computers. And even my colleagues at school and whatever, we were just basically playing on like Ataris, computers, not consoles, Commodores, ZX Spectrums, and then Amigas, PCs, and that kind of stuff, right? And still to this day, a lot of gamers in Poland play on PC, right? Because sometimes it's like back in the days, it was easier to convince your parents to buy you a computer because it was like this famous line, "Hey, mom, I need a computer for education," right? So and obviously we all ended up like playing games for like 90% of the time. So then shortly after, like I think it was like 1995, 6, maybe something like that. That was just around the time when PlayStation got released. It never got. I don't think it got properly released in Poland, right? Like officially until like a couple of years later, right? But this is where I first got exposed like consoles, like properly, and I started playing on PlayStation. My console experience, and remember, I always had a PC, right? So PC gaming was always like from the very beginning, I would say, right? And I always, even when I was switching from one console to the other, I always had a PC, right? And that's still the case. So I started with PlayStation, then I had, and that was a great console. I remember playing this, PlayStation used to come with these demo discs, right?
Yeah.
So I remember playing, the same demo like for like hundreds of times at the very beginning. Like I think the demo I had it was with Ape Escape. It was one of the Gran Turismo games, I believe, and a couple of other smallers as well. So yeah, then I moved. Then I got Sega Saturn. But the problem with Saturn was that it haven't had a proper like support in Poland, right? So it was really difficult to get any games for that console. So I played with this console for like a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months, and I sold it, right? And so I think I went back to PlayStation at the time. Then I got Dreamcast. I had PlayStation 2, then Xbox One, obviously, because, funny enough, like a lot of people, the reason why they bought Xbox, like, or OG Xbox was Halo games, right?
Of course.
Like the first Halo. I mean, I didn't care. I didn't care for Halo for a very long time. The games that sold me on actually OG Xbox were Ninja Gaiden, one of the best looking games on that system at the time. PGR, so Project Gotham Racing, which was actually kind of like not really a sequel to it was more of kind of like a spiritual successor.
Metropolitan Street Racer.
Exactly, from Dreamcast, right? And I played that game a lot. And also at the time, a lot of games from Sega, from Dreamcast, which Dreamcast is one of the most beloved consoles in my book, right? Yeah. It was short-lived console, right? But it was great. Games like Shenmue, Virtual Fighter, Sega Rally, and that kind of stuff, right? So a lot of these games actually were on OG Xbox at the very beginning, right? So I think that it was like Sega GT, Jet Set Radio, and a couple of others also. And yeah, so that's how I got into Xbox. Ninja Gaiden got me into Xbox, and PGR basically, and obviously later on a couple of other games as well, like KOTOR, for example. I would love a KOTOR remake. So yeah, and to be honest with you, ever since then I always had both consoles. Not always like bought 2 consoles at the same time, because like I said, I was a teenager at the time, haven't had a job. It was really difficult to convince my parents to buy me 2 consoles, right? So what I used to do is, it was like, hey, so I had like one console for a year, maybe 2, and then I would sold it and buy the other one just to play all the exclusives, and and vice versa. And so that's the way I did that back in the days.
Cool.
So and ever since I always had like PC, consoles, like both Sony and Xbox, right? So not really a Nintendo guy, because Nintendo until Switch arrived, Nintendo wasn't really a properly represented in Poland. So it's not really popular. It's different right now because with Switch it's very popular right now, but that was not the case until like 2 years ago. So so that's my gaming history, really. So in terms of like the consoles and stuff, right?
Yeah, I think many of us grew up with the same. We talk about Atari 2600 all the time. It's where Dan and I both started. Old ColecoVisions, and going way back, right? That's where it comes from. So that's awesome. See a lot of chat going on. I did see some type of comments from Megatron and Diego talking about coming to my house and stealing my chair. I wish you the best of luck. I live in rural Kansas, surrounded by neighbors with open carry laws, and bad idea. Yeah, you're welcome to come try.
Call me.
But I like you guys, so don't do that, please.
What's up for a cat?
Cat. Yeah, and Bruce will tell me you're coming anyway. So, all right. Real quick shot answers here, MaDz. Favorite platform of all time, if you had to pick one.
Oh, like one particular one? It's difficult. It would have to be, I say PlayStation 2.
Okay. Can't go wrong with that, man.
I mean, and I'll tell you why, because like a lot of people argue about the exclusives these days and stuff, right? And they are so excited about 1 or 2 or 3 exclusives per year, which people play. I remember PlayStation 2 had like, well, not hundreds, but like dozens of exclusives each year, and not only first party, but back then like Namco, Capcom, like all these companies were making games exclusive to PlayStation 2. So it was like, hey, there was so many games that you couldn't get on any other platform. It was just amazing, like Ace Combat, Tekken, Onimusha. Yeah, I mean, so many great games, which MGS, for example, right? I mean, a lot of these games now are multi-platform, right? Because of the business models and whatever, right?
Sure.
But back then, it was all these games were on PlayStation 2, really.
Yeah, it's incredible, and that's part of why they best-selling system of all time, right? So, if you had to pick a favorite game, like what's your one favorite game of all time?
Can it be a franchise?
Of course. You could say Halo. I mean, it's fun.
Halo.
Is it really? I was joking.
No, that's fine.
Going with BioShock or Mass Effect?
No, we're talking about real franchises here. Stop it.
Yeah. So listen, I really like sci-fi games, and so Mass Effect and that kind of games I love. And Halo is like, and the reason why I love Halo is not only because of the games, but also the everything around Halo. So if you really dig into the lore, into the stories, I didn't read the books. I need to get the books before the actual Halo Infinite comes, because there's so much. But I've watched so many like movies about like videos, should I say, not movies, but there's some like a short series about like Locke and whatever, right? So there's so much stuff around like how humanity was created, how it was almost killed and then recreated, and it was reborn. And I mean, like, really, if you dig into that, like, this is like, wow.
Yeah, and it's very, very deep. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love that. And like, last 2 years, I would say I've been like kind of like really following what's going on with the whole story of, of the, Master Chief, how he was created, how a Spartan program was created, how, basically these, little kids were abused and, and whatever, right? Like not sexually, but, people, take it the wrong way, right? You know what I mean? But, I'm talking about argumentation and that kind of stuff, right? All kinds of shit, right? So, yeah, it's, when you look at Halo, it's like, it's this, guy in this, armor, but like, there's a deep story behind it. Like, it's really, so I would recommend anyone, like, there's a number of like Halo kind of like YouTubers and find
there's some really good ones.
Yeah, and they really like explain everything. Like, so I would say Halo.
Cool. Yeah, Dan's going to be on that program soon. We're going to put together a curriculum for him, just before Infinite comes out, so he can recognize the greatness.
Well, hopefully this be like a remastering, rebooting of the franchise or whatever they're talking about. That way I can just jump right in and not care what I've played about.
But I think so. We already know Infinite's a direct sequel to Halo Wars and Halo 5.
Halo Wars 2. Well, perfect.
Yeah, Halo Wars 2. So
yeah, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, nice.
I played them both. So
well, we're going to talk about it here shortly, but we're going to see it in as we're recording 5 days, right?
I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. All right, before we do that, so we're going to jump into Ghost of Tsushima. Last, I would say, AAA first party release on the PlayStation 4 came out yesterday officially as we're recording this. MaDz, I know you said you're not currently playing it yet. Dan is actually, Dan's actually doing the review for us. And Dan, I would say you've put a lot more time into it than I have. I've got a couple hours into it. But Dan, let's hear your first kind of, impressions of Ghost of Tsushima. Is it living up to expectations? How does it stack up to the other Sony first party titles? What are you liking about it? Damn it, Wilmy. Stop it.
Comes in and bam.
Comes in with Anthem and caps.
I shouldn't have changed my name. Damn. You know what? I'm really having a good time with it. That's the biggest thing. And we can sit there and debate about stuff on Twitter. The biggest thing that I take away from it is that it's fun. I had a really good time also with The Last of Us 2. Maybe I'm messed up in the head, but I thought that was fun. So I mean, that's why I play games, right? Because they're just a good distraction. They're fantastic, and as long as they're fun games to play and I'm enjoying my time, it's great. There are issues, it's very Ubisofty. It's a little bit Assassin's Creed. The camera sucks ass.
Yeah,
for the most part. I mean, that's the biggest drawback to it, is just the ability to not lock on. And usually I don't care because I never.
I would like to call out that when I started playing it, I texted you and said, "Can I lock on enemies?" And you said it's not a big deal. You'll get used to it.
At that point, it wasn't a big deal. And started getting into. I never used it. Like even Assassin's Creed, I never used that. But the camera is so bad. You see, the camera in Assassin's Creed is much better.
That's true.
It's so bad that there's times where I'm swinging and I'm looking like at a hillside or at a tree or something. I'm like, what? Where am I? I can't even.
I had one where I was standing next to a building, right, and I had to swing my camera to see a guy this way. The camera went into the building, so all I saw was the interior of the building while I'm trying to find this guy to hit, and I'm like, oh my god, come on.
Yeah. That's the worst part about it, but it still doesn't bother me as much as where I'm gonna. Say it's a terrible game.
It doesn't ruin the game. It's just frustrating.
No. It's just a frustrating part. But for the most part, I'm probably about 10 hours in. I barely touched the main quest. A lot of exploring. I wish the Fog of War worked a little bit better on the map because I'm missing a ton of stuff. I can't see anything, and you make the smallest line when you ride your horse through the map. That it basically opens up 5 feet on either side of you, and that's it. So it's just. That part's frustrating. The camera's frustrating. Everything else, I'm really, really, really digging. So nice. The combat's super fun. Once you start adding different styles, it becomes a lot more. Because I'm a guy who goes into it and I just beat the crap out of stuff. Start hacking and slashing.
Okay, you're not doing the sneaking.
I'm not. Yeah, well, I sneak for sure. But like when it actually comes to a fight, I don't use parry. I'm a dodger. There's always those two different kinds of.
You didn't even have to. I knew you didn't use parry.
Yeah,
that takes timing.
But I'm actually using that, and the mechanics work so well that I actually can use it. Because normally I suck so bad at it that if there's a parry button, all I do is mash it. Like when I'm like, okay, he's gonna.
It doesn't work in this game. It doesn't work well in this game doing that.
But this one did a really, really good job. It allows me to actually use the parry, and it actually provides more. It provides that function. That are in other games that I just couldn't do it with. So it kind of lets you play as you want to. You can go straight in full samurai, or you can go stealth and ghost. I mean, that's basically the whole premise of the game. It's just like, I mean, so far to the point I'm at anyway. So it's just like, I mean, I'm loving it, but I'm going to be playing this. Don't expect a review probably even this week at this point, because it's going to take me forever to get through this game. I mean, I could blast through it, but I don't want to do a disservice to it. So I'm going to try to do it.
They said 60 hours for completionist. And anytime I see that, I'm like, you don't know what completionist means.
No. I mean, you got to add another 20.
Yeah, exactly. So this I'll be playing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Wilmy said he's finally done with Anthem. So so that's good. Thank you. I felt like Blinken from Robin Hood Men in Tights. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
Wow.
So camera turned behind me. Yeah, the camera is very, very frustrating. So are you picking this game up, MaDz? Is this one you're interested in?
Yeah, I'll be playing it at some point pretty soon, actually, I think. So, yeah. Oh, I kind of like, because, the thing is, like, I share PlayStation 4 with my sister. So, I think she will play it first, and then I'll have that game.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say right now I'm only about 3-4 hours in, not as much time as you, Dan. I like it. It's got some hiccups, besides the camera, there's other little things that annoy me. And I think I said this to you last night. It feels a little templated, Ubisofty is what we say, but templated, like the structure of the world and the little side missions and interactions, like if you took like Days Gone and transplanted it to 13th century Japan, it feels very similar like that. I don't know how to describe that. It's like the way you travel the world, the map, when you talk to someone, it just feels very similar. Samey.
Yeah, I mean, but that's most of the third person over the shoulder.
Yeah, Sony that's what I mean. It just feels,
and it's fine. But I mean, that's the thing. Either you like the familiarity, or you got to kind of call these guys out for kind of being maybe take them up a notch. I don't know if I compare it to Days Gone. I definitely compare it to more of a Ubisoft game. Maybe.
Yeah, it feels like a Ubisoft game.
But I understand where you're going with that. So yeah. It sucks, but at the same time, I mean, it's all what you get out of it. So
yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's not to say it's detracting from. There's a lot to unlock and find, which is cool. It's a very interesting. I know we talked a little bit about this, but at times it's stunningly gorgeous. Some of the environments, the lighting, very good HDR. It looks incredible. And then at other times you'll be sitting next to something and the texture looks like it's from a PS3. And it's just kind of confusing to me. It's like, and that happened. We talked about that with Last of Us 2. Same thing. So I don't know if it's the engine or just the way they design, from an artistic direction, so that when you're looking at panoramic views, it looks really, really stunning, But when you kind of are up close on something, sometimes it looks really poor. It's really weird to me at times.
When you get the sun or the moon starting to like actually reflect or come through the trees and stuff,
gorgeous,
amazing, right?
Yeah, it looks like Horizon.
If it's like the middle of the day, it's just, and you're out in this big field, it just looks really, really weird. And part of it I think is just all the particle crap that's going on.
The wind's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the wind. I think that it really.
I think it's cool, but
yeah, it's super organic how you find like your way through the game. There's not like waypoints and stuff like that. I mean, you can put a point on there, but there's no flashing thing on the screen or on the horizon until you get really, really close.
Yeah, and you can turn everything off too. You can turn the whole HUD off too.
Yeah, it's super. Cool. I mean, it's super organic the way they do that. So I like the wind. But there's some parts where, yeah, you're right. It just looks like, wait, was this a 360 game? Is this what the hell?
It is weird, yeah. Like I went into a bush and I'm like, oh my god, these look like it looks like this was made in paint.
Yeah,
You know, like you know what I mean? I was like, it looks really strange at times. So I don't know, but that's nitpicking, really. If you're just talking about the quality of the game, really enjoying it so far.
Sure.
I mean, Sucker Punch, because they made this game, right?
Yes.
They've been always good with graphics and that kind of stuff. I remember playing the Infamous, right? Infamous, yeah. You know, one of the best looking games on PlayStation 4 till this day, right?
Yeah, and that was in 2014.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I was like, hey man, I mean, and that was an open world game as well, right? You know, a lot of like buildings and all these, effects like particle effects when you like, turn into like, a smog or whatever, right? A dust or whatever, right? And so, yeah, I mean, they always know how to make these games like, beautiful and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of shared, you can tell that between the Sony first party studios, right? They share a lot of learnings across those studios because you can just see that as the games have evolved over the generation. So it's pretty interesting. I think someone asked if it's like Tenshu or Sekiro. It's not like Sekiro. No. Sekiro is definitely more challenging. And I would say the combat in Sekiro is much deeper. Whereas this is more kind of action focused. I would compare this more to a hack and slash type thing. It's not, the melee combat is not overly complicated. You can go in hacking and slashing. There's a parry and there's a dodge. It's pretty straightforward.
I mean, that's good to hear because like I'm not really into these like Dark Souls kind of type of games. To be honest. So
hey, I mean, now you got Dan on your side.
No, I played some of these games. I even played Sekiro for like an hour, but I was like, yeah, I mean that's not for me. I played Bloodborne back in the days. Never got to finish it. I just like I don't know, like so yeah. So this game sounds like a game for me, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah,
not too difficult.
No, it's much more, and it even has an easy mode. It has difficulty options, so you can play it on easy if you want. I was going to comment on the photo mode too. There's a picture from photo mode. Photo mode is awesome. Sony first party's done a really good job of kind of making sure each game has photo mode, and they've kind of gotten better as each game's released, right? They add more and more features. This one's really cool, especially because when you first go into the photo mode, the wind and the particle effects are still going live, so everything else freezes, but like the wind and the particle effects are still happening. So like the leaves are blowing through the air and stuff, and you can adjust that, but it's really, really cool. Wilmy, we're not going to compare it to Anthem, all right?
Somebody buy him this game.
We're sending 10 copies of Anthem to Wilmy as we speak.
Dan mode where the enemies just kill themselves as you walk by. Oh my God.
Dan would turn that mode on if there was that mode. Yeah, he sure would.
Turn that on. I would just sit there and just like move my stick every once in a while if I could. For sure.
This game has more story in the first 15 minutes, 30 minutes than Anthem had total.
It does.
I would say. Yeah.
Yep.
So story's pretty good so far. And as you would expect, the cinematics are really cool. I don't know about anyone else. I'm playing in Japanese with the English subtitles, which is really cool. It doesn't sync to the mouth movements properly because it's dubbed to actually English. But it's definitely, in my opinion, it's much more fun to play with the Japanese.
Language. That's how I always play the Yakuza. Not that I have a choice in those games, but it's kind of like the reverse of those old kung fu movies you used to watch, where the English was dubbed over the Japanese speaking, where you would talk.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's exactly the opposite of that. It's not terrible though. It's but it's totally worth it, man.
Yeah. All right. So, MaDz, you'll have to let us know what you think when you get to it. I'm actually pretty excited to get back to it. Now that you have gotten to the part where the world opens up, I love just exploring. So there's nothing revolutionary here, but it's definitely going to be just a fun game to spend some time on. So, all right. We're going to get to Xbox Showcase. So a couple weeks ago, we did our kind of early predictions, and that episode has been sitting out there. And, there's been a lot more news over the past few weeks around this Xbox show that's coming up on Thursday. So we now know that it's going to be about an hour long. I think they said slightly longer than an hour. No hardware, no news, no anything else. It's going to be all games. So they confirmed that as well, which I think we assumed ahead of time, but now we know that definitively. So got a few questions I want to talk through, and we can kind of go round robin on these just to make guesses and see what happens. And chat, feel free to jump in on this too. So if you had to pick a game or something to open the show with, what do you think that'll be? MaDz, I'll start with you, man.
Halo. I want Halo. and I want it now. I want 10 minutes of gameplay. I mean, hey, start with 2 minutes CGI, and then make it a smooth transition into the gameplay, which will look just like the CGI. Then we show the open world, show the brutes fighting Spartans and whatever, right? And I mean, hey, it's about time. Listen, we've been waiting for Halo game for so long, like 5 bloody years. where in fact, like this generation, previous generation, these Halo games cycles were like 2-3 years, I think.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to see how this game plays, how everything works. Is it really an open world game? How does it look on Xbox Series X, the most powerful console in the world and in the universe?
Yeah, they better show it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want Halo. So start with Halo. Yeah,
start with Halo. So you're saying come out swinging, basically, because that's one of their biggest guns, if not their biggest gun, of course, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
they're going to show some new stuff too, so we'll see. But no matter what, Halo is the game that's driving. I mean, the impressions and the views and the likes and everything that just them teasing Halo Infinite is coming is already through the roof. People they're ready for Halo.
Yeah,
so, Dan, what do you want, man? Coming out of the gate with what?
Yeah, not that. I would say they need no offense, man. Okay, but you don't want to go. Here's the way I look at it. If you're going in, you don't want to blow your load right at the beginning, because then what do you got left? Then people are just going to be like,
it happens to everyone.
I hope they've got more to show than.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, oh no, and then they just kind of walk off stage. Oh no,
kind of puts out, and you're just like, oh well, that was nice, But what I'm saying is, you know that's coming. That's a known commodity. It's ready to, you're going to finish with that one, right?
Yeah.
Getting to that later. I would say you need to come out with either, if the rumors are true, with the Fable Dark or Fable
Dark.
Fable
Nice.
Dark. That's what
Nice.
Dark toned Fable. I like it.
Yeah. Perfect Dark or Fable, I think, should be your opener if those actually exist. All right. What I don't want to see is probably Aaron Greenberg in his kitchen.
He's not even in the show.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Phil Spencer already said Aaron's not in the show.
That's fine. I mean,
no Xbox Series X fridge anymore.
I don't need to see it. I need to see games, and games. I think it's gonna be the same as kind of Sony did it, where they came out with Spider-Man, finished with Horizon, and then had some stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
So
you want better quality meat in the middle.
Yeah, right. I mean, even if you can't do the whole thing, hit me with some Fable. You got some shitty sandwiches and condiments or whatever is in there, and then right in the middle you go, oh, but I got this fire fucking meat. Boom, there's Perfect Dark, and then you finish it off with this Fable. Then just that's what you want.
So you want the movie arc where you've got the you start here, then you've got that middle arc, and then you've got the climax. Because
it's going to be down at some point.
It's got to.
It's not going to be this thing where it just constantly keeps ramping up. And if you can pull that off, fantastic. If you can start and get people super hyped here, and then just keep it going, there's going to be dips. Come on, you're going to have to for sure.
Xbox, if they could just pull off a good show, well, I think
that's what we're hoping for. But I do, I would say you want to come out with something that's gonna, pique everybody's interest. But I don't think you want to, because there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, oh, that was what I wanted to see. That's it. I'm good. I saw Halo. Whatever else is just kind of icing on the cake. You want to come out at the end and just go, oh, by the way, and just start off with just seeing Master Chief's feet or something, like walking down a corridor, and then kind of pans up to you don't know who it is or something, and it pans up to him, and then that would be perfect. Like going from that cinematic to.
That's what I was just gonna say. MaDz nailed it. You've got to build that suspense with Halo, right? You've got to, because in all seriousness, I know this sounds crazy. Maybe not to this audience because we're all freaking dorks here. But when I see a new cinematic that I've never seen before, that's kind of slow motion-ish and builds up to like Chief and Cortana, dude, hits me right in the center of the chest. Like I get crazy excited. So they've got to build up that hype that way.
Yeah.
So
it's too big, man.
We've got some serious game suggestions. BZ, by the way, we're talking about the proper show. I know there is going to be an hour pre-show where they're talking about game reveals. In my opinion, they always hype those up. There will be some game reveals. They're going to be smaller scale. I don't think you're going to see anything big in that 11 to 12 slot. 11 to 12 slot for us, whatever that is, for everyone else. But we've got some good suggestions here. So Bugsnax 2. You think they'll immediately announce the sequel to 1UP PlayStation?
I mean, if you want to start the show that way, then yeah, and then that's fine.
How about GTA 4 enhancements?
Yeah, or Skyrim. Yeah.
We know that we're going to get GTA 5 enhancements. So how about GTA 4 enhancements?
They go backwards. I'll tell you what, if they came out and said, we've got a Vice City remake coming, I'd be all over it. Let's go.
Yeah. You have that Pokemon picture you can just put up in the because the Pikachu one, that's what would happen if I saw a Vice City remake.
Dude, I need to add that. Why don't I have that in the chat here? Going forward, we'll have that.
Go ahead and add it in. Yeah.
Anthem 1.5. Maybe they open with the Anthem enhancements.
There's going to be zero BioWare anything in any kind of show from here until probably the middle of next gen until they release Dragon Age.
Well, Xbox does have the EA marketing, right? They had the marketing for Anthem. They had it for Dragon Age Inquisition. So, who knows what we'll see there. But anyway, trying to get back on track. Chat's popping off, guys. Love seeing you here. Thanks, everyone who's joined. All right. So I think my prediction for the opening is I don't think they're going to open with Halo. I think they're going to open with something that's known but hasn't been shown. And what I mean by that is a game we know about, but we haven't seen proper gameplay yet. And so my prediction is that they're going to open with Elden Ring. Because From Software's huge. People really want to see this game. We still haven't seen any gameplay. We know Xbox has the marketing rights to it. It would not surprise me to open with some type of cinematic, a From Software type cinematic, and then show the first gameplay of Elden Ring. That would get people pretty pumped up.
Yeah, well, you're setting your expectations super low there, then, man. I mean, then you can, that's good. That's a very interesting strategy. You just kind of set the bar super low, so then you can only go up. So Elden Ring, look at this. Battletoads is probably in here somewhere. Like
right in the middle. Hey, I mean, the fact that you don't care about this game doesn't mean that other people don't care.
Nobody cares about Elden Ring.
I mean, I wouldn't be really too excited about this game because, like I said,
you're on the same page.
Yeah, I don't really play these kind of games, and just like with PlayStation 5, show, like people going crazy about I was like, okay. So exactly. I mean, different people, different opinions, different kind of tastes.
Don't validate their opinions.
Opinions are fact. God damn.
Okay,
all right, let's move on. So we know that most shows end cap, right? They're going to end with something big. So MaDz, if you think they're going to start with Halo, I would presume you think they're going to end with new IP, something big. What would your guess be for the ending game then? They close out.
I would love to see the new Obsidian RPG.
Nice, good call.
I mean, and not sure if gameplay or CGI. I mean, this game has been in development for a while, I think.
Yep.
Because every single time I heard about Obsidian acquisition, people were saying that they bought Obsidian for that particular game.
Yes.
Right. So that tells me that back in 2018, when they bought them, that game had been in development already, right? So I would love that game to be shown as a last. I know that a lot of people say, "Hey, Fable, right?" But Fable is it's great. I mean, it's probably going to be great and stuff. But this is something that we kind of know, right? And closing the show with a totally new IP. Something really, really exciting is oh man, right? That's what Xbox is all. Because usually we tend to remember the last thing they show like for longer, right? So yeah,
Sure.
I would close the show with that.
It's an interesting thought because all we know about the game is this is the AAA team in Obsidian, right? The smaller team made Outer Worlds, and then obviously there's a very, very small team making Grounded. But the core AAA team, the bulk of Obsidian, is making this RPG. And as you said, it's been in development for a few years already. Now, all we know about the game is that it is supposedly a true fantasy RPG, right? So everyone's mind always goes to Skyrim. But we all know that who knows what Tim Howard's Bethesda's doing right now, because Starfield's supposed to be next. He's already said clearly that Elder Scrolls 6 is years away. Yeah. And so I think, to your point, it could be super powerful for this showcase if they were to come out and show a true AAA next-gen fantasy RPG in the vein of Skyrim, whatever that means. But that's going to be an Xbox exclusive, right? Because there's tens of millions of people waiting for next-gen Skyrim or the next Elder Scrolls game. So that could be very, very powerful for sure. Cloud, man, what's going on? Thank you for the super chat. Bitcast hype, appreciate it, man. I don't know what your Canadian $5 are worth here, but I appreciate the 43 cents, and we will put that to good use. I'm kidding. Canadian dollars are probably worth more than our dollars right now. I don't honestly know.
No, you know what, Matt? That is a really interesting little. If they did that and went that route, I would think they would have to not only have. I mean, it's got to be an amazing showcase just for that game. You almost need to have some kind of gameplay. Kind of like you said with Halo, like just kind of blow people's mind. Like they did with God of War. When they
God of War's intro when they first showed that at E3, that's one of the best of all time.
But listen, that's why I said that. That's why I picked that game, because this game has been in development for a while,
right?
So they can actually show some gameplay. Because like the other RPG that the xCloud is working on, right, or is in pre-production. I mean, this game is not going to come out until like in next 5 years, really.
You got a few years,
yeah. And this game, from what we've been hearing, has been in development for a very long time. So I would imagine that they've got some gameplay already. So
I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, Dan. So you've got
I got Halo probably ending it.
You got Halo ending. I can't even remember what you said already for opening. What did you say for opening?
Either Fable or Perfect Dark.
That's right, Fable Dark Fable. All right, so you think they're going to close with Halo, end with their big hitter?
I like, my head tells me that. My heart now wants me to go with MaDz, and because that sounds way better. But yeah, I would think they would come out and make that last like 15 minutes just Halo. So you got 45 minutes, everything else packed in, and then you just top it off with this, amazing game, that everybody's waiting for except for me. So
nice. I immediately want to promote 9 Lives in the chat to moderator status, because he has the best suggestion yet, and that is to close with Banjo. Which, come on, that's what they should be doing. I mean,
Nintendo fans would be, in heaven.
No doubt. Although they'd probably just say, "When's it coming to Switch?" You know how that goes. Mo, man, good to see you here live. He says it's the first live show he can catch. So I know we chat all the time on Twitter, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat, man. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Good to see you live. Awesome. So okay, so surprises. Oh wait, I didn't talk about what I want to see end. What the hell did I even say open with? Elden Ring. Yeah, so I think my mindset has been ending with Halo as well. I'm almost like you, Dan. I figured they would end with Halo and use that last 10, 12 minutes to really do what MaDz said, right? Set up a cinematic, then move into the world. Everything we know about Infinite, or everything I've kind of been looking around for stuff, is that it's going to be similar to kind of hub world type, so maybe not as open as, say, God of War or something, but there are going to be kind of missions and other things to do, right? So maybe show that structure. Obviously, you've got to hit on your key characters: Chief, Cortana, Arbiter. You've got to, showcase those people. So, but hearing what MaDz said about Obsidian's RPG, I'd be down for that as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. If they can get me hyped by showing that end of that, and ending with Halo, then we'll know they did a good job, because
that's going to be our barometer.
Yeah, that's the barometer. Is my hype level after I see it, because I really want to see it. I mean, it's what it is. It's just bring it, Microsoft. You gotta bring the fire, man. That's all I care about. You've got all kinds of time. There should be no excuses come Thursday.
I'm with you. I forgot to play around with the banners and the colors again, man. I got told that was cool last week, and I forgot I could even do it. So yeah, we're gonna go with it.
You can change the colors even.
I know, it's crazy, the technology that we're all right, so let's talk about some surprises. So if you could kind of pick some things that you'd like to see, not even necessarily has to be Xbox first party IP, but just games and developers across the industry that you think have a somewhat realistic possibility of showing up at this show. What would you really like to, what's something you'd really like to see? MaDz, I'll go with you, man.
Well, I would love to see the Starfield.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, this is possible because we know that Bethesda always kind of they used to show their big games at Microsoft stage.
Yes.
Just like you said before, the Elder Scrolls is not coming out anytime soon.
No.
The Starfield is actually closer to being released, right? That's what Todd Howard said, right? So apparently they've been working on that game for a while. So not saying that this game is going to be coming anytime soon. When did they show this short teaser?
2018 E3.
Yeah, there we go. So this. It's about time to show something, right? So why not here? So
yeah.
So that I would like to see Starfield.
That's a good point. And funny enough, as you just talked about that and said Todd Howard, which is obviously the game director and head of Bethesda Game Studios, I realized that earlier. I said Tim Howard. I have no idea who Tim Howard is.
That's his stepbrother.
Stepbrother. He's like an entry level, coder or something. He goes and visits him every couple months. Like, you still here? All right. Yeah, I'll get. You can have a job.
That's nice.
It's been a long week, man. My mind's not top of its game right now. All right, Dan. That's a good call out, though, MaDz. I think you're right. So Todd Howard and Phil Spencer and Xbox have a very good relationship.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to talk about it, but Fallout 76 debuted on Xbox's stage. So we've seen that relationship. So that would be very impressive to get the first Starfield footage, actual footage, at this event. So, Dan, what about you, man?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for surprises, what would surprise me if they didn't have cheesy dialogue sections where people were, that would be a great surprise. Where it was just more streamlined, where Phil talks.
I'm pretty sure they've confirmed that.
Is that what it's going to be? Phil will talk for sure.
I'm sure Phil will be there. He's all over the place right now. He's literally everywhere.
Everywhere. I want to see what he's got to say. I don't know, man. I mean, this Starfield would be great. I'll take it. I mean, short of that, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I want surprises. How about that? I want to see stuff that's not been released.
Yeah, you want to see stuff that we can't talk about because you don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Chris said Ted Howard worked on Fallout 76. They thought they had Todd Howard game directing. It was Ted. No wonder.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm going to say it because I have to say it. I'm actually contractually obligated to say it. We need to see Banjo. We need to say Banjo. Come on. Come on, man. I don't need 5 minutes. I don't need some big hubbub about it. Just give us 30 seconds. 30 seconds to let me know that you still know that you have this IP that, whether you realize it or not, has a big-ass fan base. And I've said it before, just look at the craziness that happened when they announced Banjo for Smash Brothers. Just give me Banjo 3. Come on. Everyone wants it. Well, not everyone wants it. Some people want it.
What if they show it during the pre-show with
That's fine. I don't care if they show it Tuesday at 4:18 a.m. Just show it.
Because the thing about Banjo is, even if I don't know, I have no idea if this game is in development or not. But let's imagine that it is. It would not be Rare working on that game. It would have to be some third-party developer, because Rare did say that they will never ever work on any of their own old IPs. If anything, they will give it to somebody else to work on. So
that's fine. They've got plenty of talent across Xbox Studios, and you can always have kind of consultation, right? You know what I mean? There's people that could help with artistic direction and things, not necessarily be in active development. So people asking for Conquer too. I've seen that a lot. You know, it'd be cool to see Conquer come back. So
I want to see stuff that I haven't seen ever.
All right. So do you guys think?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Batman. That's my surprise.
What?
Batman. Some kind
Batman.
of Batman.
That's Batman.
Do Batman. I'm calling it right now. If it's not there, it's a failed show. That's it. Failure. No.
And every show has been a failure for 5 years because Batman has been MIA.
Yes. God damn it, Batman.
Yeah, it's been between like Dark Knight and Night Rises right now. He's broken, he's battered, he's hiding in his mansion. He doesn't want to come out.
He's in a pit and he's trying to crawl out. Yeah.
His back hurts real bad, you know. You just got to punch him in his back and he's good to go. Fable, you guys think Fable's a definite?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Okay.
At this point, they have to. I mean, or don't.
If there's anything we know about Xbox shows, they don't have to do a damn thing. Yeah,
this is the surprise that Dan was talking about. That hey, no Fable.
Yeah,
that would be the worst surprise. Oh my god.
Oh man. So
no,
Elo's
I
asking
mean,
for.
they better show Fable because so many people just want this game apparently and stuff, right? So yeah just show it.
Well, and again, right, learn from your competitors because even though I'm not even the biggest fan of it, showing like a cinematic for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, that's not even true gameplay, it gets people hyped. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima lived on the hype of their E3 presentation for a couple years. You know what I mean? Just show 2 minutes, minute and a half, just show the world, fly through the world, show a little bit of humor, make a joke because it's Fable. That's all you'd have to do to get people really hyped up, right? You put all the speculation to rest, make it beautiful, and you know it's coming. That's all you have to do. It's not that complicated. Yeah, Fable is a myth. Stop it, Dizzy.
And what's interesting about Halo? I mean, sorry, Halo. I keep see. I want Halo so much. Like, I'm calling every single game Halo now. So. Yeah, it's actually interesting that Microsoft is really focusing on these RPG games like a lot. Like there's going to be a lot of RPG games, which is great. This is what made kind of Xbox stand out, like in the PlayStation 2 era, where they had those Western RPGs. There was a lot of them. Very true. I think it might have something to do with this PC heritage. Because PC gamers love RPGs as well. So and now console gamers as well. So hey, it's great. So I can't wait for all these RPGs games.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Mariano is back at it, man. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. He agrees, Dan, we need to see Batman Beyond or whatever they're going to end up calling it, right? So thanks as always, Mariano. Always, man. Always. I missed another one too. Killer Instinct. Elo was talking about Killer Instinct. I think there's a core kind of fan base for Killer Instinct. I don't know if it's big enough to really drive. That would be like a pre-show thing, in my opinion, if you're going to do some type of Killer Instinct announcement. But
but I've heard so many people saying that it's not in development that I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon. Yeah,
no doubt. God, there was one other thing I was going to talk about. I can't remember now. Anyway, we'll move on. Initiative. So one of the biggest, the new studio for Microsoft, tons and tons and tons of top tier talent at that studio. We know that, originally it was rumored they were going to be there. And then a new rumor from some industry guys, some trustworthy guys said Initiative's not going to be there. Then you had the Matt Booty leak from this week, saying I don't want to talk about Initiative. Yeah, that was a horrible phrasing, right? You had the Matt Booty leak.
Terrible.
But then you had him.
I missed it. So what did he say?
He said he was in an interview and he said he started to talk about the Initiative and he said, I don't want to say too much because of our showcase coming up. And so it kind of alludes to the fact, right, that you would think we are going to see whatever they're working on. And apparently they're not even working on one game, they're working on multiple. So who knows? But
can I say something to that point?
of course.
Because that was a couple of months ago. I mean, this year, but like early this year, Matt Booty in one of the interviews did say that we will see their new game like this year.
They did.
Right?
They did.
Yeah. So we will see that game. Just we don't know at which show.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm excited though. We've talked about it many times here. The prevailing rumor for Initiative is that they're rebooting Perfect Dark. What are your thoughts about that, Matt? We haven't talked to you about that. So do you think they're actually working on Perfect Dark? Do you think they're going brand new IP?
I mean,
Well, yes.
I have no idea. I mean, so many people seems to believe it, right? But let's assume for a moment that they do, and I mean that would have to be a totally new game, right?
Yes.
Because like out of the interest, I played the older games, and like obviously the Perfect Dark, the very first one, is available, in backwards compatibility right now as well. So the old N64 kind of game, like. It's kind of fun. Like obviously, it's still like a very old game. Like
it's very dated.
Yeah. But back in the days, like that was it was really up there, right? One of the best games. And I played the game that was released on Xbox 360 as well.
It's not very good.
No, like so, like don't do so. If you want to use some of the characters and the kind of like the world and whatever, right? I mean, do that, right? That's not a problem, but that has to be a totally new game, right?
Yes.
Totally did. So I've heard some suggestions that how about make it like a stealth kind of game and whatever, right? I mean, that sounds great, right? Because like
Splinter Cell.
Exactly. There's not many games like that right now, right? So yeah, I would dig it, and like it's kind of cyberpunk-ish kind of type of game. Futuristic, I would say as well. So I like that kind of games in general, but just like Perfect Dark, forgot the name of that game, like on Xbox 360.
Perfect Dark Zero.
Zero, yeah, that just wasn't really a good game.
No, it wasn't.
So
it wasn't. So, to close this segment out, we know besides Elden Ring, they also have the marketing on Valhalla, and they also have the marketing on Cyberpunk, as we know. So we just saw Valhalla at, what are you thumbs downing?
I don't want to see any of that garbage. I just saw it.
Cyberpunk 2077? What are you saying?
No, that's his most anticipated game, but he wants to see new stuff.
And so Valhalla's up there too, but I just saw Valhalla. I don't need to see this.
That's true. I don't need to see more Valhalla.
Right.
I would not mind seeing more Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that might be true. Okay, I'll take that one. Not just
look, if they show Cyberpunk 2077 running on Xbox Series X at 4K, 60 frames per second, with all the bells and whistles, right? And they will say, 4K 60. Then I would be happy. So.
Need that Pokemon picture. I'm gonna go get it right now while we're talking.
Right now.
Yeah. All right, so
these things
go ahead.
And just phrases that I'm just like, oh yeah, cyberpunk. I mean, of course we'll have to watch it afterwards, because it'll be 4K 60 on the upload. But I'm going to. I mean, I'm gonna be like, okay, hey, we're done with chat. I'll go back and rewatch this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm ready for it, man, for sure. That would be.
So if I was gonna say, if people aren't aware, they've announced that the stream's gonna be 1080p 60 live. And then afterwards on YouTube, the VOD will be 4K 60. So, if there's some trailers that they show that are really fire, make sure you go back and watch them in 4K 60 because that could be amazing. I'm saving this picture as we speak, Dan. So,
wait a minute. You don't want to get defunded or whatever it is, demonetized.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, good.
The only reason we have monetization on, because we don't do it on anything else on these, is for the super chats. We'd make like 10 cents otherwise.
That's right.
So that's right. We don't monetize around here. It's free content. So closing thoughts, guys. Anything else you want to say on Showcase before we move on to xCloud and Series S, which we're going to talk about?
I'm super hyped, and I'm really curious to see what Hellblade 2 is going to be all about, because I love the original game, I played it on PC and then Xbox One when it got released to the Game
Oh,
Pass.
gotcha.
Yeah. Obviously, it was confirmed recently that this CGI was actually running live on Xbox Series X, apparently, right? So
live in engine.
Now, obviously, exactly. Obviously, I would, like graphics wise, I'm sure is going to look like fantastic, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm more curious to know what they're going to change in terms of like gameplay and that kind of stuff, because the first game was rather short, like 8-9 hours, I think. The music was great, so hey, leave it that. However, like the combat needs to be better. Puzzles, yeah, I liked some of them. After a while, they got a little bit annoying, to be honest with you, right?
Sure.
So if they improve on that and the graphics and great story and whatever, right? What's interesting is the trailer shows that she's not really she's on some sort of like crusade or whatever, right? So it looks like this game is going to be more interesting, maybe more like not saying open world, but like bigger, more kind of interesting, I would say, right? But anyway, I'm just kind of curious to kind of see what this game is going to be all about, really. So
yeah, I mean, the first one was made by a smaller team at Ninja Theory.
15 people,
on a smaller budget. So just imagining what they can do with the funding and support they have now is, mind-boggling, really, right? So, Dan, what do you think? Are we going to see Hellblade 2?
Sure. I think it's important for it to not become, what we see now, like a Ghost of Tsushima or God of War. I think it, you're right, though. Some of the puzzles were like, and the combat was, average, probably. It was more about the story of, for me anyway, and the audio.
The whispers.
So good. It was so good. But I think, you got to keep that kind of core, feeling that you got, playing it, but then just expand on that, to your point, MaDz, work on the combat a little bit, maybe a little more variety in the puzzles and stuff like that. But, it was so good. I played through it, I think I played through half of it on PlayStation, played through the whole thing on the Xbox for achievement points. So it's definitely up there for me.
One more game I want to see there, Mass Effect remake.
Oh baby!
Oh!
Throw it up, Ains.
I mean, the main show or pre-show doesn't matter. I just want, because like there's been so many rumors like a couple of weeks ago that Mass Effect, remake or remaster is actually in development, right? And yes. I was so convinced that we're going to see that during EA Play, and obviously that hasn't happened. So, like, really, realistically speaking, and apparently this game is coming this fall, right? So many people tell me that, right?
And that's hard to believe.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So let's just assume that's.
That's our response to Mass Effect remake if it's coming.
That's
there it is.
That Mass Effect, yeah. Mass Effect in effect.
Perfect.
Great. So yeah, I'm just curious to I mean, when and where are they going to show it, right? Like,
I don't know, but that's a good call out. And again, we said it, right? The Xbox has that relationship with EA and the marketing, and BioWare and Anthem. They did the marketing, so it, maybe. We've called out so many big things, though. I mean, I got to remind Dan to temper his expectations. But
don't temper your expectations. Don't do it. No.
So, Matt, I don't know why you haven't played Hellblade. I think I'm going to have to boot you from chat until you go play Hellblade. So it's in all seriousness, fantastic game. Absolutely worth playing, especially you being an audio guy, Matt. How have you not played Hellblade, man? It's the best game audio you'll ever hear. It's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, please go play it. Seriously, it's on Game Pass. Go play it. It's free. Well, not free, but you know what I mean. Gator 6 Charlie in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. All right, guys, we've been talking Xbox Showcase for a while. We got a lot more to talk about. All right, let's get on to some of this stuff here. So, xCloud. Let's jump right to xCloud. Microsoft announced this week it's officially launching in September, And the big question around xCloud was, how are they going to price it? Many of us thought it would be included with Game Pass Ultimate and kind of just broadening that subscription kind of ecosystem, right? Sure enough, that's what we got. So Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, starting in September, will include, obviously, Game Pass on Xbox and PC, your Xbox Live Gold membership, and xCloud going forward. So they haven't announced any additional kind of game catalog or what, iOS support is the big thing I'm curious on, because I do have an Apple phone, and right now it's payment. Yeah, any of this stuff, right? So we don't really know if and to your point, MaDz, if it's going to be offered in some type of form outside of Game Pass Ultimate, or if Game Pass Ultimate is going to be the only way to access xCloud. But MaDz, I don't know. It's always nice having people outside of the US on the show, because what's that look like in Poland? Have you experimented with xCloud at all? Do you have any interest in that? Do you think, is it even supported in your market there?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not supported in Poland. So I'm still waiting. The Poland is a little bit behind with those services. Funny enough, like Xbox One actually launched a year later here in Poland, but so it's changed with Xbox One X. So we got it that was a global launch. So I don't know, I haven't tested it because I can't. I can play with VPNs and that kind of stuff, but that's not really going to be the best experience. So I'm hoping that if it's coming to Game Pass, maybe they will add more countries like Poland. But my thoughts, generally speaking, on cloud is that it's not necessarily for me per se, right? I'm more of a PC, Xbox, in terms of local hardware kind of guy,
sure.
Right? And this is where I will be playing most of my games. But at the same time, right? Hey, if when I'll be traveling, I'll go visit my parents, I'll go on holidays, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I will have my phone with me always, right? So, hey, even if 4G is not great right now, 5G is just starting to rolling out here in Poland. So I can still play some of the games that don't necessarily are to fast-paced games and stuff, right? I can play on my phone. So, it's a nice options basically, right?
Yeah.
But the great is that it's going to be tied into the Xbox Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why Microsoft keeps saying that Xbox Game Pass over 100 games, when in reality it's over 200 games, right?
Yeah.
If you really, I didn't count lately, but the last time I did a year ago, it was over 200 games. And if you combine PC and Xbox games, because these two Xbox Game Passes a little bit they offer a bit different games, so there's actually even more. So I've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so I will have benefit of having cloud as well, if it will be supported once it's going to start be supported in Poland, obviously. So it's a great move in my opinion, because it comes for $15 you have access to over 200 games. A lot of AAA games, a bit dated games, some games, right? But still, first-party Microsoft games, and we know that there's going to be more and more games coming, soon, right? So it's a great. I feel sorry for Stadia.
I forget who it was that showed on Twitter when they announced this. They had a picture of a Stadia controller sinking like a ship. It was just quite funny. But yeah, this is the total package. And Elu said, it's one of the most exciting announcements that seem to excite few. When people get to understand it, they'll be more excited. And I've been having that debate for a while. People just don't see the future of xCloud just yet, but they will.
Yeah. Last thing on xCloud. What I like about xCloud is that, for example, there's over 200 games, right? So xCloud, and people already said that, even wrote articles about it. You can use xCloud as a kind of to demo some games, right?
Yep.
You won't have to wait and download and stuff. I upgraded my internet lately, so it's not really big of an issue for me. But a lot of people, a month ago, I had very slow internet. Some games I had to wait, like I had to leave overnight to install the game, right? So so this way, right, I can test the game out. Is it worth waiting, actually, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, right now it's not a big problem because I've got good internet, so it's not really a big of an issue. But a lot of people still don't have great internet, so that at least they can test it out.
Yeah. It's also, we heard this week that it's also helping development, as COVID's kind of taken over the world and everyone's kind of working remotely now, that they can actually use xCloud to access the Xbox ecosystem and API tools, right? And actually developing code remotely against xCloud without having a development kit locally, which is a very interesting proposition. I hadn't even thought of before. So really impressive. All right, Gator and Dan, this one's for you. It's coming. Boom. Hashtag meaty.
Meaty.
Anytime we have a meaty topic, we're going to throw it up there. All right, Dan, I know
it's getting a little bit dark.
You've talked about you've used xCloud probably even more than I have, and I know you're kind of more usage of it. But it's really cool, I think, that this is just going to be part of what you already have. There's no new subscription here. This is just another feature that's really being added to the Xbox ecosystem, and before next gen launch, which I think is really, really cool.
Right. Well, for us, that might be true. You know what I mean? Like it's what you hear, like what MaDz said. It's like, so it's not for me personally because we've got, for everybody else that where they don't have that console or they're trying to do it. Like this was targeted maybe towards like the Asian markets, where they don't, their mobile gaming is through the roof.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how they do. Are they going to bring the console streaming, is that come with it?
Yes.
Was that part of it? Okay. So, and then if it's just Game Pass games, you're going to be able to play off of your console.
That's what we don't know. Yeah. Don't know the catalog yet.
Right. That's going to be, an important part of it. But, at some point you're going to get to the, where you're going to buy a new TV and on the box, it's going to say pre-installed with, xCloud or whatever they call it. I know it's not going to be called that, so, and you'll start seeing that more and more. That's what they need to do. They need to push this stuff and market it where people see it better, because we all know about it. Everybody in chat knows about it. Everybody on Twitter knows about it. But that's such a small percentage of the actual gamers and the people they want to reach. So they have to start reaching those other people. And once they start doing that, then it will be, I think, pretty damn successful. I've played. It's fantastic. It works most of the time. But like you, MaDz, or you, Ains, it's just not something I'm gonna ever use. It's nice to have the option, though. It's definitely nice, and I don't have to pay any more for it. So
it's already included.
Yeah, it's already.
I'm just curious whether they're going to be adding some additional like payment options, because I would imagine that not everyone is going to be interested in Xbox Game Pass. So just curious.
Yeah. And I imagine they eventually get to the point where it's like, I hate saying this, but like Stadia, where you can buy your games. It's going to be part of your library, or just like right now, it's all linked to your, sorry, physical dudes, you can't buy, disc and put it in your phone. So you're going to have to buy it, through the Microsoft store.
Watch your mouth.
You heard me. But I'm saying, it should work pretty much the same way, once they get to that point. I don't think it'll be there in September. But I think eventually that's kind of what it'll be,
Oh, yeah, eventually. I mean, it is going to be, we already know. I mean, realistically, I joke about it, but the more than the majority is already a digital, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be to the point where if you have a digital game, like we talked about, it's ecosystem you're talking, right? Ecosystem. So if you access the Xbox ecosystem, it doesn't matter how you access it. You'll have access to your profile and your library. And so, I think about the future like taking a road trip to Colorado. My wife's driving. I'm sitting there just playing Halo. I mean, that kind of possibility is awesome. Or to your point, maybe, MaDz, about the focus with Xbox with the RPGs that are coming. I mean, what better game to just play remotely when you're somewhere else than like a turn-based RPG or something like that. Those are fantastic games for those types of experiences.
That's how I got through Fire Emblem on my Switch.
There you go.
I mean, I was in Colorado, literally took a trip to Colorado and played 3 houses.
That was not scripted, by the way.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I mean, that's
Nice.
what it is. Also, be careful going through central Kansas on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a reliable car.
Yeah, you're going to get about negative 2G. That's what you'll get on your phone. So,
All right. So that's game xCloud. We've actually got one more Xbox topic to talk about before we get to PlayStation 5 and a couple other things. I wanted to talk to you, MaDz, because from a technical perspective, you have a better working knowledge of the stuff than I would say most. I know you and I have had some conversations about things of this nature, but we still haven't officially seen Lockhart, or what many of us refer to as Series S. And so I know you haven't been on the show before. We've talked about it here, being the entry-level next-generation console. I know there's a lot of confusion when people say 4 teraflops because they're like, wait a minute, that's less than 6 of Xbox One X, which you know as well as I do, that's not how that works.
Xbox is doomed.
So there's no new news here, but I figured since I had you on and we were kind of on Xbox Showcase and knowing that we're going to see this soon, probably in August, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on Lockhart Series S, what you think about the proposition of that entry-level console that's like a 1080p or even 1440p box for next gen. Just get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Well, from business perspective, I mean, it's a great kind of like, I mean, the more the better, right? And obviously the cheaper the better. I mean, let's face it, like most people buy consoles because they are cheap, right? They are pretty cheap because, to get a decent PC, it costs way more. And like with our current gen consoles, I mean, with the next generation consoles like these top end consoles, we will be paying probably $500 for each, right, for both. Yeah. And like $300 if that's really going to be the case, like, for $300 you are really getting like a next generation console with the next generation tech. There's going to be some sacrifices here and there, obviously, in terms of like resolution and stuff, but that's fine. Like $300 is not really a lot. Like, I'm not sure what's the official price of PlayStation 4. Isn't like $300 still, or like $250? It's close.
$299 here in the US.
Yeah, so that's 7 years after PlayStation 4 launch, right? And Lockhart, probably is going to be $300 like at launch. So yeah, it's a great business proposition for like people that don't necessarily have like $500 to spend, and combined with Xbox Game Pass, where like for $10 per month, you will be getting like access to a lot of games. And I mean, xCloud is going to be a bit expensive. That's beyond the point. So yeah, it's a very good proposition. $300 for a console. Hey, maybe extra controller or just use the Xbox One controller.
Yeah,
and you are ready to go with all those games available in Xbox Game Pass. So from business perspective, I see this console being bought by a lot of like newcomers, and also PlayStation 5 owners that will just want to play those exclusives, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people that are PlayStation mainly people, and they say, you know what, for $300 and with Game Pass, hey, that's a hell of a proposition, right? So really, that's from like a business perspective, I guess, right? And consumer perspective. From technical point of view, I was worried at the beginning with regards to the actual specs, because graphics wise, that's not a problem, because graphics is actually the easiest of the so many components in the console that is actually easier to scale up and down, right? So that's not really going to be a problem. And to your point, like 4 teraflops based on the RDNA architecture, that's a still better performance than what you're going to get from Xbox One X, even 6 teraflops, especially if you combine the additional like technologies that RDNA 2 will come with in Xbox Series X, meaning machine learning, ray tracing, and VRS. I mean, that's a totally different like GPU, like totally different technology. My biggest worry was about the CPU, but from the latest comments by Tom Warren, well, we kind of know. Well, it's not hasn't been officially confirmed, but he says that the CPU is going to be the same number of cores. SMT there is going to be there as well. Same clock speeds, which is great. And people talk about the game design, right? So if the CPU was different or even run at different clock speeds, then that could potentially hold Xbox Series X down. But looks like that's not going to be the case. CPU is going to be the same. Velocity architecture is going to be there. I hope they're not going to change anything about it, because same point as with the CPU, it has to have the same performance. RAM and GPU, that's not really a big problem, because with the 1080p resolutions, you don't really need that amount of RAM. And if you read about SFS and how they can actually, save the bandwidth multiple times and stuff, it's going to be a great 1080p 60 frames per second kind of like option for many people, right?
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I think there's a lot of confusion around it. Gator6 just really asked about Anaconda Lockhart. So Anaconda is the Series X. Lockhart is what is presumed to be the Series S. But yeah, I think it's going to be a hell of an option, especially, you're talking all digital. Game Pass really empowers the console, right? Because that gives you the capability of getting people in with, as you said, nearly 200 games, including the big Xbox exclusives, immediately. They don't have to buy anything else. So, presumably you could pay $300 and have a next-gen console, all those games to play, it just seems like a hell of a proposition. All of us, well, not all of us, but another thing Dan and I have talked about too is we're all buying the Series X. We just are, right? But, my son, maybe he plays on Series S. My wife, there's plenty of other people that aren't the core spend whatever it is for that, the top, right? There's other people that just want to play games. And the beauty of the ecosystem is that it doesn't matter which one you own, you can all play together, right? So there's no reason I couldn't have a Series X and play Borderlands and co-op with my son who's on a Series S, which is awesome, or even an Xbox One for that matter. But anyway, all right. You're shaking your head, Dan.
Literally everything you said, MaDz, went into one ear. My brain is completely scrambled, and then it's going to just poop out my other ear because I don't understand any kind of tech.
You're having a booty leak.
Right? Yeah, I'm having a booty leak, literally right now. But it sounds awesome, and great for it sounds like a pro consumer move to me. I just you get people out here that are throwing around the stuff like RDNA and teraflops and resolution, and I know I don't understand jack crap about any of that stuff. And it sounds like you do. But most of the people that do talk about it have no idea.
Well, some people say that I don't, so I don't know who to believe.
You can just, just from what I've just heard, about 1,000 times more than I do. So let me ask you this question. What they've been saying that I've seen in the Twitter sphere is that this console at, say, $300 is going to do 1080 60. Is that right? That's going to be the high end side of their. It's a less powerful console.
Yeah.
Than that Series X. Same ecosystem, same architecture inside. I'm starting to pick up little words here that I kind of understand. So,
according to rumors, obviously that hasn't been officially
right? Yeah. So that's what they're kind of shooting for, is just kind of an entry level system with a lot.
Yeah. But still, again, capable of. And I'm going to say ecosystem just for Gator6 Charlie again, but capable of, playing all the new games, right? Having all those decreased loading speeds. You talk a lot about this whole SSD and, as MaDz mentioned, everything else that goes along with that they're building into the, the APIs really for the new console. You'll get the benefit of all of that.
Yep. I have no idea what the API is. So
we're not going to get into it. Mariano's doing it again, Dan.
Nasty. God damn it, dude.
I know he's doing it again. I've told him.
I love Mariano.
I'm going to ban him if he keeps up. If he keeps giving us money, I'm going to ban him.
No,
That's where we are. Mariano, thanks again, man. Truly appreciate it. He has a good question, though. Lockhart looks more like a traditional console, which is what we've been hearing. You know, that little render of the little cube has been shared a lot, but that was just a render. What we're actually hearing is it's going to look more like the X right now, or the One X or the One S, right? A flat horizontal console with no disk drive. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it's going to be smaller. I keep forgetting his name. Tom Warren also leaked that it's going to be it will come with 20 compute units. So that's like over half than what Xbox Series X. Probably going to be clocked a little bit lower because that would make sense. So it will produce way less heat. So, it won't need as sophisticated cooling system as Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Which we could get into it. We're not going to, but the Series X with the split motherboard, that heat sink, and the way that, they designed the cooler, it's freaking impressive. Really, really.
Listen, also remember, like Xbox One X, okay, I'm not going to go too technical, but like the thing is that Xbox Lockhart, I mean, the whole SoC, the chip, is going to be way smaller than what's inside Xbox One X, right? So it will produce less heat. So so it's probably going to be then quieter than Xbox One X, right? I mean, it's just going to be so much better console on so many levels that it's just like, it's not even worth comparing. It's like last generation, new generation, less powerful, but I mean, it all makes sense. It all makes a huge difference.
Yep. Agreed. Hassan, good to see you, man. Thanks for swinging by. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And he just quickly says, Dan of Tsushima.
That's right, baby.
All right. Where are we, guys? So we'll quickly moving to our other next-gen console is PlayStation 5, right? So we saw some details about the production this week. Initially, they said that they were planning on 5 to 6 million units for worldwide by the end of 2020. What they've said now is they've been able to increase that to 10 million worldwide by the end of 2020. Now, the details around that are that they plan to have 5 to 6 million ready for launch, shipped globally in stores, ready to be distributed. The other 4 to 5 million will be produced between October and December, and therefore basically be shipping end of the year right into January. And so if you start to think about that from a global perspective, if you have 6 million units for launch, obviously, then you got to get into the distribution of where those units are going. So I know I saw a couple analysts say they expect around 2 million, 2.5 million for the US, the North American market, at launch, which I have no idea how many people plan on buying at launch, but I would say make sure you get your pre-order in, because that doesn't sound like that much to me for a PlayStation 5 launch in the US. MaDz, I don't know. Did PlayStation 4 launch day and date globally in Poland?
Yes,
it did. Okay, so and I know Xbox is planning the same this year this time. They've been very clear about that. So
I mean, we had Xbox One X launched globally day and date. So so I would expect the same. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay, because I know they, like Xbox, they screwed up the Japan launch, and we're not going to get into all that. But so I don't know, guys. I mean, we're not analysts here, but I figured I'd call this out. It's cool that they're increasing production. I think it goes without a doubt that PlayStation 5 is going to sell extremely well just because of the reputation they've earned with the PlayStation 4 and people wanting to continue on with, those IPs, things like Horizon we've already seen. So are you a day one buyer of PS5, MaDz?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting both actually, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So yeah, I'll be getting one. I'll pre-order as soon as the pre-order is going to be available here in Poland. So yeah, I mean, it's good that they are increasing the numbers because I mean, it will sell out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's just like the power of the brand. It's a global brand, and especially here in Europe. Because this is like, okay, so I don't really want to get into like Xbox, like while talking about PlayStation 5, but like PlayStation beat Xbox here in Europe like 4 or 5 to 1.
Yeah,
right?
It's bad.
So here in Europe, even in Poland here, this is going to be a hot, item, especially around the holiday season and stuff. So even it's good, it's going to be expensive, but still. So yeah, it's good to hear that. Like at least there's more chances that I will get one day one. So I'm just curious why what happened. Is it something on the technical side or because I my understanding was that they kind of they weren't sure if the supply chain is going to be there and if they will be able to get the parts ready for the launch stuff. So I'm just wondering, is that the case? Did they improve on that or whatever, right? Because we didn't get any more information on that other than the fact that they are increasing their kind of production numbers, right?
Yeah. I mean, in general, Sony's very guarded with details of how they do things, right? So I think it was just good news. We'll see more production, but we don't really know why. But yeah, and I know, Dan, you're day one, particularly with Spider-Man, Miles Morales. That's going to be, I know you're going to be all over that. I think, Matt said in chat too, is really, there's not going to be anything I want to play day one on PS5. And I think when we watched the PlayStation 5 showcases, that's what I was saying, because I'm not interested in Spider-Man. Godfall doesn't look very good. Which I was previously excited for. We'll see if it turns out well, of course. But I don't know if there's anything going to be there day one that I even want to play. I'm still buying the console day one, but I don't know if there's going to be anything I'm really excited about.
I'll to that point, I will tell you something interesting, because a lot of people say that maybe there's not going to be a lot of games, but I'm actually one of those guys that actually play older games a lot, as well. So I'm really looking forward to see all the PlayStation 5 enhancements for the older games. Yeah. Games like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. God of War has got performance mode even on PlayStation 4 Pro, right? Yes. So which runs around 40, 45 frames per second. So on PlayStation 5, it's probably going to be 1080p 60 even without any patch. I'm still hoping that they will patch some of these first-party games so they can take advantage of the extra hardware and stuff. So I still haven't played some of the PlayStation 4 games, so it's probably going to be a good kind of it's going to have good to have PlayStation 5 and play these games at better fidelity, better resolution, and better performance hopefully as well. So that's my take on PlayStation 5, because I'm not into Spider-Man either. I was hoping for Gran Turismo to be our launch title, but that doesn't seem to be the case. No. I like racing games, so we'll see. And I still believe that they haven't shown everything yet. So.
No, I agree. They'll have more. So, Dan, I don't know. We've talked about this at length, I know, but
yeah, no, I mean it's nice. I worry. I always worry.
It's nice.
I mean,
it's nice.
PlayStation is 5. It's nice.
No, here's the deal. So I'm going to buy this obviously for day one launch. I'm excited for Spider-Man. I don't know. Like you said, we're not analysts. There's going to be people that at that point we don't know how this whole global pandemic is going to pan out. We don't know how people's wallets are going to look. Here in 3 or 4 months,
Very true, especially here in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are, you kind of have to look into and kind of see. You also have, I always flash back to the Red Ring of Death with the 360. Is it going to be something where, and this goes for both consoles, is there going to be some kind of failure that's going to, I don't know. And it's great that they're producing more, I guess. I was really worried that I wouldn't, get one. Really, that was my biggest motivation for buying it on launch day. I'm still going to do it because I still don't think this is a whole lot. But even Jim Ryan kind of, he threw out a number one time. It was 15 to 25 million in the first 2 years. Just for an example, let's say if, I think he was talking about something else. So, I mean, that's, almost, it's 2/3 of it. So it's. And I don't know. They're doing it really, really fast. It seems like they're popping them out of there pretty quick.
I know their main production center is fully automated now.
Yeah.
They're making the PS5, just fully robotic, which is kind of cool. Anyway, yeah. Someone in chat, I think MaDz said they'd be so occupied with Series X at launch, it's not even worth buying the PS5 for launch for him, just because the games. And that's kind of my problem, right? Between Valhalla, Cyberpunk, and Halo takes over my life. I'm not going to play anything else. So I'm literally going to have a PS5, but it's just going to be, sitting on top of my shelf, standing 8 feet tall, and hopefully not breaking the shelf from its weight. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Guys, just quick questions. I'm just curious, really. If we were to compare it to PlayStation 4 launch numbers, how many did they ship? Like, do you know? Because
not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm just curious whether that, because like some people say that it's not really a lot. But I mean, 10 millions in like first 4 or 5 months. That sounds like a lot of consoles, really.
It does sound like a lot, yeah, to sell that quickly. I don't know, honestly. I'm trying to look real quickly, but I'm not going to probably find the number. There you go. Nope, never mind. That's not it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but, I mean, just a thought.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know about Poland, MaDz, how you guys are doing there, but the U.S. is we're not doing well right now. COVID has had a big impact on this country. Unemployment is up. People are losing jobs, and it's actually getting worse now than it's ever been. COVID is, expanding, and but it's July. We've got probably at least 3 months to launch, right? If not 4, and things could be worse. And so, to your point, I mean, the thought of mass market, the hardcore guys like all of us, right, are going to buy it. But mass market, the thought of people spending $500, $600, $700 on a new console launch may not be in the cards for a lot of families. So, yeah, who knows? All right, a couple more things to just touch on real quick, guys. These are just a couple quick ones, and then we'll talk about what we're currently playing and head out. So, there's a new company, I guess, or brand that Square Enix created this week called Balan. I think it's Balan Company. This is apparently a new brand under Square Enix. And what they said is, and this is a quote, it's going to unite Square Enix's internal and external action game development, video, and music production professionals. And so if you think about Square Enix, they showed that Project Athia teaser during the PlayStation 5 announcement. They have that action game they're working on, and for the life of me, I could not remember the name of it, that they're working on for next-gen consoles as well. And, Square Enix is a pretty big publisher in the gaming space. So this is kind of interesting. Japanese action games are very popular. You think about franchises like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, those types of things. So not a whole lot to really add here. I just thought I'd mention it because it is interesting that we see one of the biggest publishers in the world creating an action game brand where they're going to bring all their developers for action games under one umbrella and publish under that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, good news. I mean, the more the better.
Yeah, that's what Dan always talk about. It's like cool, new games. That's what we want to see.
Oh, you want?
Yeah. So
I mean, listen, I like action games. So I mean, if we're talking about like games like Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, God of War, or whatever, right? I'm up for it. So yeah, very cool. And like Square Enix is known for RPGs and JRPGs, like at least it used to be, but now it's more like a global publisher really, and they publish all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I remember, or I preferred them in the Square Soft days when we got all those RPGs, back when we were younger. But it is what it is. And then pretty cool news here too, and I know we're kind of excited about this if they do it well, is that the Uncharted movie, the thing they haven't been able to get off the ground for like 2 years, it's actually started filming, and Tom Holland announced this himself. I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday that it started filming. So this is a supposed prequel to the Uncharted kind of franchise on PlayStation 5, where you're starting with young Nathan Drake. That's why Tom Holland's playing it. But this, again, hope this really turns out well. Tom Holland's he's awesome. And I hope that this turns out well because I love Uncharted. The only comment I have about this personally, I'll see what you guys think, is my favorite character in Uncharted is Sully. And I don't know what role, if any, Sully is going to play in this role, seeing as how it's young Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a very young Nathan Drake, and we saw him in Uncharted 4 with those flashbacks, there was no Sully. I mean, there was a young Sully there because he kind of breaked into the, his office is trying to steal something from him, I think, or I don't remember.
Right.
Yeah, there was a part of the game like that. So, I mean, it might be totally different Sully as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe this is where they meet up,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to, because like I like Uncharted. It's not. It's it's kind of like Indiana Jones kind of game, really, right? Even sometimes they went crazy with some of the ideas and stuff, but it was always fun to play. Uncharted 4 opened up a little bit in terms of as well. So I really did like these games. So action movie, new Indiana Jones kind of game movie would be cool.
Yeah, Cloud's starting again, man. Yep. I hear there's an Anthem movie being produced.
Actually, I would love one. I mean, more than game probably. But,
So real quick, just to go back, MaDz, 4.2 million PS4 units sold by the end of 2013. It launched as about 6 months worth of sales, it looks like.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
But so hold on. But we're talking about financial year, not physical, yeah?
This is it says at a keynote speech that 4.2 million PS4 units had been sold through the end of 2013.
Yeah, so that's right. So that means if they have 5 to 6 million, they're up 30%, or 50%, excuse me, compared to what PlayStation 4 launch was. So
they're not really that kind of even previous numbers were not really that bad in comparison to PlayStation 4 launching. Really.
Yeah.
God, we've gone from Anthem straight to DVD to VHS to Betamax. We're going backwards.
We just Laserdisc like it was nothing.
It's going to be on slideshow pictures soon.
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, I don't know this whole Uncharted thing. Yeah, I mean, I like Tom Holland, but I also would rather see the current day. I mean, that's who everybody likes, right? Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
like an Indiana Jones style movie,
right?
Not the fourth one.
Right. Well, I mean, is that the universe that they're going to just kind of stick in, or is that just like a one-shot thing? And then, it's just weird. It's weird.
So a lot of the gaming franchises that they're starting to move to screen have gone the way of series, right? We saw Witcher, Last of Us is coming, Halo's coming. It seems weird that they're still pushing Uncharted from a movie perspective. But to your point, I would think that they'd be setting this up for a long-term thing. I don't think they do a one-off movie with young Nathan Drake. Right.
No, I mean, this is going to be, Tom Holland, watch him grow up, This dude's what is he, 20-something years old? He looks like
he's young. Yeah, he looks like he's 12.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
He's 12.
Yeah, well, that's kind of funny.
That's fine. I mean, it's Sony. They probably got Tom Holland not locked in from Spider-Man and, just like, man.
Hey, I bet they will use Unreal Engine 5 for that movie as well. So
there you go.
With that 250 million investment and stuff, right?
Yeah, and you can use the 24 frames per second. Good for theaters. You're good. All right, guys.
Filmic.
Yeah, the old filmic word. All right, so let's talk about currently playing. So obviously, Ghost of Tsushima is a hot topic for Dan and I. MaDz, what are you currently playing around with? Anything good?
Well, lately I've been mainly playing Forza games, both like in my own private time and on streams as well. I've been streaming lately on the channel as well.
Nice.
But I've been away for a while and doing some renovation work here and there. So, but I have also been playing Gears Tactics on PC as well. So I like that. I like this game. So
nice.
It's
a good game. I didn't finish it. How far are you?
Probably 4 or 5 hours into the game, so not too far either. So because, like I said, I've been kind of here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one I want to go back to. I really enjoyed it. I'm in Act 2 somewhere in Act 2, and I can't remember now.
But to be honest, it's actually interesting because like I'm not really, I don't really play tactical games and that kind of stuff, right? So I was like, I don't know if I want to play it, but I like Gears franchise, so I tried it and I kind of like it, right? It's not really too difficult, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's more like faster paced game. So
it's not overly complicated by any means. Yeah. So very good. Dan, you playing anything besides Ghost right now?
I mean, I finished The Order finally.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you went back.
Yeah,
you were not too impressed with it.
I mean,
Order 1886, you mean?
Yeah.
I started that game probably.
I really like that game.
Like 4 or 5 times, and I could not get past like a certain point. I was just like, oh my god. Now, for the game as it is now, knowing that it's such an older title, you have to give it, certain passes here and there. You have to say, okay, well, obviously it's a little bit dated. Controls are a little bit tough, but it was. I liked the story. I think when it ended, I was like, damn, why didn't they ever do a sequel to this? I mean, I understand like maybe it didn't do well commercially, or it's fine. It was a struggle. I pushed past that this time. It's really early in the game too. I'm just gonna say where it was when I met Tesla, and after that, I always got to a point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And shortly after that, I mean, I probably 3 or 4 times, I just could not push. And then this time I was like, I'm just going to finish it. I got Ghost coming out. I've heard this is a very short game. Yeah. And it wasn't bad, and for given the, like I said, given when it came out, it was still good. But yeah, now it's kind of like, man, they really could have done something with it. I mean, they didn't do anything. They just left it there.
No. Well, Ready at Dawn, I just looked it up real quick because I was going off of memory, but they just they didn't do anything follow up to this. Remember, they were pretty much like a PlayStation second party studio, right? They weren't owned by Sony and PlayStation, but they've made games. They're now owned. They were just bought by Facebook. They're making VR games for Oculus now.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So we're not going to see unless they do a VR. I don't even know who owns the IP, but we're probably not going to see anything ever to do with that universe again, which is kind of a shame because I always said the game wasn't incredible, but it had some really neat things in it. And if they would have made a sequel and just kind of fleshed it out a little bit, made a bigger areas, a little less linear, a little more progression, a little deeper story, it could have been really good in my opinion.
I think so.
Yeah, I enjoyed that game big time, and I was hoping for a sequel as well, but especially considering the way the game ended. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was like, oh, sequel is coming, but yeah, never good. That's
never happened. And the funny thing, so I collect collector's editions, as we all know, and I had the collector's edition for that game. I didn't like it too much, the actual collector's edition, so I sold it, and now it's worth all kinds of money because it's like no one bought it, so it's super rare. Damn it. Did you pick up Paper Mario, Dan?
You would have thought I did. I mean, that would be the MO.
Yeah, that's what.
Did not.
Wow. You held off on a game purchase.
Off.
Wow.
So, damn. Literally yesterday, I was like, man, maybe I was sitting there just scrolling on my phone like I'm a Nintendo store. It's like, nah.
Your finger was shaking.
I mean, it was close. Yeah, it was like, trying to get that, needle in my arm. No offense, drug doers. You
making fun of our audience, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, method. My bad.
CAP, thanks for stopping by, man. Mariano, no, I did. Yeah, so they showed Flight Simulators coming out next month now, and they showed that 10-disc version of it. It's actually only available in Europe. They're not making that for the U.S. market, but pretty funny that in 2020 we're getting a 10-disc game, which baffles me. I don't understand it.
I thought it was just I thought they were just trolling at first.
No, it's real.
Yeah, it's real. That's craziness.
Hold on.
What you got?
Just wanted to show you this.
You're not showing it anymore.
I just broke it now. So that's Gran Theft Auto 5 now for PC. Yeah. So there you have it.
How many discs is it? Oh man,
sorry,
5, 7
2,
discs.
4, 6, 7.
7 discs. That's Dan's dream right there.
That's for PC on DVD. That's why there's so many. But
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's do you have to play and then like switch discs every time like you get to a certain point?
No, you just install it and then you just have to keep one of the disc in the drive.
Like a play disc.
But I own it on Xbox. I played on Xbox and I never played it on PC actually. I mean, not this particular one because I don't even have a DVD drive. But I got it for free when I bought a new monitor. So I was planning to buy a DVD drive, but it kind of maybe I do and play it once.
Even so, Dan, I know you don't have it, but the physical version of Red Dead 2 on Xbox is 2 discs. So you install the second disc and then you have a play disc that you have in the drive.
To be like, was it Mass Effect or like?
Same thing.
KOTOR but you had to actually switch the discs.
You did. It would just go black. Please insert disc 2.
Yeah, drove me nuts.
I was quite surprised because when this generation of console came into the market, I thought that PC will adopt the Blu-rays as well.
Yeah,
but they never did, and all these games like collector editions and that kind of stuff all are on DVD still. So it's like,
I think Steam is just too big on PC, and because that's all digital, there's just no market for those discs on PC. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm playing Tsushima, and then I actually started Halo CE again. I think I mentioned that last week that I went back and I'm going to play through Halo CE for probably the 25th time, because I want to play through it again, get some updated screenshots, and just re-experience it so I can write my retrospective on the game before Infinite launches. So. Man, going back, starting that game again from the beginning, it brought back so many memories. Especially when you first, the ship gets attacked and it starts playing the drum beat of the classic Halo song. And man, I was all pumped up, just like it, 20 years ago when I played it. So amazing game. Amazing.
Are you talking about Halo again?
Yes. What do you think? What do you think we're doing here? It's a Halo podcast. Get used to it.
Just checking.
All right, guys. I think we're going to head on out of here. MaDz, it's been a lot of fun having you on, man. We'll have to do it again sometime. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to your channel. I did notice that you passed 15,000 subs recently. Congrats on that, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. That was a great show. Had a lot of fun talking about these predictions and that kind of stuff and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Love your show. Been watching your guys for a very long time. So yeah, the podcast and stuff. And I mean, if you're interested in more technical kind of aspects of the gaming and stuff, so check my channel, MaDz Gaming. You can follow me on Twitter, MaDz Gaming PL. That's my Twitter handle. So I do all kinds of videos, like tech videos, and I've been streaming lately on my channel as well. So I'm kind of still trying to figure out the schedule and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So thanks a lot again.
No, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome. Dan, what's going on?
Not too much, man. I'm gonna go play some more Ghost.
There you go.
Relax the rest of the night. I got an article coming out here in a little bit. And so going to do the review on Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to see how long that takes. No promises. Balls deep, and we're going to see what happens.
All right. Awesome. So, we got new Ghost of Tsushima review coming from Dan. We got new article coming from Dan, a new article coming from Steve this week. We've got another review, I believe, coming from Cloud's playing some new stuff, who's in our chat as well. KD's working on an article, Carl. And then next week, Bitcast is going to be, we're doing it at 1 p.m. Central instead of 12, right, Dan? We're pushing it back 1 hour?
Yeah, my daughter is graduating next week. So
yes, fantastic.
I'm not going to the graduation. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're going to cancel it. And it'll be a stream show only. Thank goodness for COVID, because it's 170 degrees outside.
It is really hot.
I literally walk outside and I'm drenched. So it's disgusting. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to smell that. Let's just get it on, and I can sit here in my air conditioning. I'm a lazy boy.
All right. So 1 p.m. Central next week, guys. It's going to be a special post Xbox show Dan and I and MaDz's friends from Lords, we're going to have Cog and King. So it's going to be 4 of us next week for the post Xbox show. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be good times. It'll be good times. We haven't had King on yet either, so he'll be another first.
That's
So-
true.
He's a funny character as well.
Yeah, King's hilarious. So he's a real good guy. So
King and his tattoo.
yeah.
Wilmy should know something about it.
Oh yeah. So chat, you guys have been awesome as always. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate you guys. I say the same thing every week, but I appreciate it so much. So thanks again. This was Bitcast 114, and we are going to go and close out. We'll see you next week. Peace.